again, in the future, they can still use this existing program, all right? So we have, as I said, and I think Jack mentioned, we have adult awards as well. Students that are in their second, third, fourth year of college or getting a master's degree, the town offers scholarships. Now, the foundation scholarships, okay, so after a student goes through this process, which I've already done, I'm going to click on My Scholarships. So now it's taking me out to so these are the, now I already applied for a lot of these, some I haven't, but if you look on the left, these are all the scholarships. So all these donors that are listed in this program have donated money to the Community Scholarship Foundation, and they ask that the foundation's committee make the selection. So that's the difference with this scholarship. So all these awards in Scholarship America are being decided on with the vote of the Scholarship Foundation Committee, if that makes sense, all right? Jack referenced the committee, and if you look through, some of these may have requirements as well. So for example, right off the bat, we see the first one, right? The Burlington Educators Association. So that goes to a child of a teacher that is part of the Burlington Educator Association, all right? So you can kind of figure out, the next one we see Burlington Sons of Italy. So, and it has questions. So if the red question button is clickable, that means there's some questions that have to be answered. Others that aren't clickable, you just simply click apply. It's very, this program is actually pretty easy in that sense. So like Sons of Italy, for example, let's just check that one out. So the question, and again, these parameters are put in place based on the request of the donor. And if there wasn't a senior that was part of this, that didn't, as you can see, relative or member in the Sons of Italy, if there was a senior, for example, that no senior met this requirement, then they usually default to the committee to decide, just so you all know. So Sons of Italy, looks like it's to the child of a member. And let's see what Leahy Clinic is asking. Have you ever or do you presently volunteer at Leahy Clinic? If so, list the dates. All right, so those particular awards ask questions. The other scholarships, and I'm not going to go through them all, there's a lot. It varies from year to year, just so you know. But the pool of money here in this one, in this particular, the foundation, it's probably, well, Jack already left. He could probably give us the specifics, but I want to say it's like $75,000 or so. And they're usually distributed. These scholarships vary. Like I know the Sons of Italy is, Sons of Italy is $1,000. I think the Lions Club, I think they're $500 awards. So they vary anywhere from $500 awards to, they could go upwards of, I think this year we may have one that's $4,000. So they vary. And again, the scholarships that are in Scholarship America are decided on by that committee. Okay. Does anyone have any questions on this website? Yes. We don't class rank. Just leave it blank. Yep. All right, I'm going to shift gears now. I'm going back to the one-stop shop doc, okay? Back to this Google Doc. And I'm not going to go, the thing that makes it tricky too is, I'm not going to go through each and every scholarship, but I'm going to go through a few, is some donors haven't yet confirmed with us. So Teresa is actively talking to local donors. Both Teresa and I reach out to ensure that people are continuing with the scholarships. And so some people continue and some people don't. So we kind of work operate that way. And so obviously we want to make sure everyone that contributed last year contributes this year. And Jack kind of mentioned it, but the scholarships, there's a variety of scholarships that are out there in terms of whether it be a business, whether it be a memorial scholarship. We have quite a few memorial scholarships, which I always tell the students. In fact, the first one right here, the Dan Whitehead, student that graduated in 2004 that passed away. The mom has done this the past 5 years. So there's a lot of people where it's very, very meaningful to them, these scholarships too. And I try to explain that to the seniors as well. And, you know, when the time comes, hopefully all your children get scholarships, but if you happen to get a memorial one, please know it means a lot to someone, and we ask students to send thank yous. So I'll just jump to that application as an example. So this is one that you would have to download and print out. But again, it's a pretty straightforward application. This particular one, it's a $500 award. Again, it's called the Dan Whitehead, and it's a two-pager. So with these hard copy applications, say you have 10 hard copy applications, we try to help you with this process, right? So you do not need to request, because all these donors will want a transcript. You do not have to request 10 transcripts from us. Just all we ask you to do is bring the application to us. Most will do it on the deadline, but we would prefer a little sooner than that. But either way, you deliver the scholarship application to us. We collect all the applications, and then Teresa will take care of the transcript. So you do not have to request transcripts for all your scholarship applications. Now, it could be an outside scholarship, maybe through your employer. You may need to request a transcript for that. That's fine. But for these local scholarships, we'll take care of it. We collect them all. We talk to the donor. The donor prefers it that way, because on the donor's end, they'll get, like Mrs. Whitehead, for example, will get, 15 applications. We'll put the transcript, we'll attach the transcript, and we send it off to her. So she gets it all and takes it from there. The other scholarship I wanted to mention is the Burlington General Scholarship application. So the General Scholarship application it's a Google Doc, but this particular application is, we have some donors that don't want to create their own application. So I have a memorial scholarship for my father in a different town, and so I didn't want to go through the aggravation of creating my own application. I asked the school, can I use your general application? And they said, sure. So this is our general application for donors that don't want to do their own application. So we asked students to fill this out, and then when those donors request the information, we'll have it in this general application. And we probably have, I'm sorry, I'm going to scroll quick on purpose. No, it's not listed there. There's probably about 10 to 15 donors that use our general application. Okay? So again, right now we've run through 3 scholarships really, right? Or 3 scholarship programs really, but so we had the Community Scholarship Foundation, right? That was the application that you have to work on a profile. Second one is the general, which we just went over. That's a Google Doc. And then again, I just talked about Dan Whitehead. And I'm kind of scrolling through, and you can see some might be very specific, and some you can figure out by the title, right? Like the hockey alumni, it's probably going to go to a hockey player, but you still want to read the description just to be safe, okay? The other one that I wanted to mention, well, there's a couple I'm going to mention. Just bear with me, I'm trying to find it. Okay. The Town of Burlington Scholarship. So, and your tax, did anyone ever donate on your tax bill to the scholarships, if you've seen that over the years? That money is going essentially into a bucket And that bucket of money is used each year for graduating seniors. This particular scholarship has a committee. They will remove names from everything. Actually, Teresa does it. God bless her. So she removes the names from all the various student applications. So when the committee reviews, they have no idea who's who with names. So this committee will review those applicants, and they award scholarships based on that. They do have an essay. Again, this is called it's the tax checkoff scholarship, essentially is what it is. So that's another scholarship that we have listed there. I wanted to get to, because I know most of you have heard of, oh, there it is. Okay. How many have heard of Adopt a Class here? Okay. So Adopt a Class is a volunteer-driven program in the town of Burlington. Since your children were in kindergarten, there's been a sponsoring company. It looks like it's Rockland Trust. Since kindergarten each year, Rockland Trust helped to coordinate fundraisers. Those fundraisers asked for volunteer support. You may have volunteered at some events between kindergarten and 8th grade. When students get to high school, all the events Rockland would sponsor would now be up to the students to volunteer. If you recall, if you're ever involved in that, you had to fill out a log with your name, and those hours have been collected since kindergarten, all the way to 12th grade. Teresa Kavanaugh has a binder with all this information. So if you ever wanted to find out, if you didn't keep track of what you've done over the years, or your senior hasn't kept track, you would want to shoot Teresa an email and find a time to come in to take a look. But I just want you to see the application itself, because the application is pretty easy. Sorry. Did she post the application? I don't see the application. So I'll try to get that in. Let me just see seniors. So there is an application. I'll make sure it is up there. But the application is very simple. It's one page. And all you're doing is listing the activities. So the way this all works is the students have to apply. We've had students over the years that have had accumulated a decent number of hours and they never applied. It's not an automatic. Students still need to apply, okay? But once they apply, put down their hours, the hours are verified by the Adopt a Class committee. They look at who has the most hours, and then that student, they do some sort of calculation. I think last year the top student, it was like maybe a $2,500 scholarship. And then that kind of sets the top number. Then they go from there based on hours. So anywhere between, I want to say 400 all the way up to 2,500. All right? That is Adopt a Class. And Mrs. Kavanaugh helps to coordinate that program. She'd be more than happy to answer any of those questions if you wanted to email her. I'll make sure that application is posted and up on the site so you can all access it. If you notice, I had said April 1st is the most common deadline. That particular scholarship looks like it's a little bit later, April 7th. And so if it's highlighted in red, it means it's up to date, okay? If you happen to see a yellow, it means they haven't yet confirmed or committed to the scholarship program. So a lot of local civic fraternal organizations, sports, local youth sports programs, and then there's some businesses in town that donate as well. So, and there's like Jack, for example, just mentioned his family award. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. One-stop shop is right there. I would suggest that you look through this information. Feel free to email me if you have any questions at all. I will update the Adopt a Class application to make sure it's posted. I will send out a follow-up with this information. But beyond that, I would be more than happy to answer any questions.